waking up crying because I've nearly drank in my dreams and thinking that I've broken my sobriety. That's when you know that, like, how much it means to you,
Mm-hmm.
how much your sobriety means to you, how much it can be a superpower.
Nearly 2.5 years sober, and that is how many days that you just said?
It is 898. So yeah, it'd be 900 days on Thursday. Um, which, yeah, I don't know why, but I always seem to do these podcasts. They always seem to come up on when I'm having milestones, but the milestone is a milestone for me. 900 days means nothing. There's no attachment to 900, but it's just like a nice round number of like 900 days. Like, and it sounds longer than saying, 2.5 years to me. Maybe that's just how my brain works. But
No, I mean, I totally get it. I like those numbers. And that's like in the very beginning when I quit drinking, I was like 50, 75, 100, 150, like 200 and then or 180 also in there. But like I like those numbers. Some people are like, don't count the days. And I'm like, but some of us like to count the days.
yeah, yeah, I do every single day. I'll check my sober app, even just for the motivational quote as well, which I've seen them all about probably about 100 times because they're just repeated. But that also helps me because the way that I work and the way that I've controlled and worked my recovery myself is I look at the evidence. So I look at the evidence of, okay, I've done X amount of days. I know that I can do it. I know I can do it again, but I know I can do hard stuff. This is why, like, when I created my routine when I first started, made the decision that I was going to change my lifestyle and stop drinking. It was a case of, okay, I read Atomic Habits by James Clear when I was on vacation or holidays, call it in the UK, and it was life changing really when I read it and I started I was studying it and working out the pattern behind habits and the routine and the cue and the reward, and I knew that if I could stick to something, which has always been hard for me in the past, sticking to anything really, but if I could stick to it for 80 to 90 days, I knew that I could make change. How long it would last for, I didn't know, but and that, I think that's also why I count the days, because I've always kind of, the way that when I first started, it was always like, can I get to 90 days, and then can I get to a year, and then it's goes from that to waking up crying because I've nearly drank in my dreams and thinking that I've broken my sobriety, and
Yeah.
that's I think that's when you know that, like, how much it means to you,
Mm-hmm.
how much your sobriety means to you, how much it can be a superpower for you.
Yeah. Can we go back to the day that you decided quitting? Was there something that led up to it? Like, what was your version of a rock bottom?
Yeah, so the version of the rock bottom, I've had many, but two in particular, which were the result of alcohol, um, alcohol and drugs. I was a drug user as well, just recreationally is what I used to say, but it wasn't. It was never that. It was never that for me. And the times where I've hit rock bottom, yeah, I lost everything. I lost my driving license. I lost my house. I lost my job, everything. And yeah, I still continued drinking after that when I was rock bottom, and I was, in a real bad place at that time. This was going back to around 2011. This was, um, and I ended up. I was in a bedsit flat on my own. Um, that weekend, I'd been out partying a weekend. Was sat, on my own in the flat, and I was actually supposed to see my son, my eldest son, who was around 2 at the time, and I just was in such a state that I couldn't see him, and that was when I really considered and was planning to commit suicide and take my life, because I felt like I had nothing to give the world, nothing to give him, my son, that needed, that I now know needed a strong father figure. And I the only thing that stopped me from doing it would be him, and and the fact that I couldn't leave him, couldn't do that to him. From there, I really tried to improve my life, and I was on an upward trajectory from there, and I was trying to find a job. Made the decision to leave my hometown and move away on my own, completely start again. But I was still drinking, was still going back to old habits as well. And I managed to rebuild my life. I met my now wife, but I still carried on drinking, and I was still making really bad errors of judgment when I was drinking. It was causing problems as well in our relationship when I was drinking. And the moment that it changed for me was on a holiday in Ibiza. And again, I made a decision. I wanted to stay out. Been drinking all day, like all inclusive drinking. My wife's never really been that big of a drinker. She did drink, but not really, not like I did. And I never know when the party's done. If it's midnight, then I want to drink until 4 a.m. And if it's 4 a.m., I want to drink until 7 a.m. And that was the biggest problem. And when we were on holiday, I wanted to stay out, even though my daughter was, very young and needed to go back and sleep. Naturally, she had her routine, and I didn't want to. I was selfish. I wanted to stay out. I think in that evening we had words. I think eventually I went back to the room, and then something just changed. Something just changed, and I realized that I was recreating the same cycles that I created in my life previously, maybe 10 years earlier, and before that as well. From the age of 16, I found myself homeless. Used to just go and walk into supermarket and steal the alcohol, and my only intention, even from that age, was just to see how wasted I could get. And then obviously that the drink led to the drugs. But when I made the decision, I never could have imagined that, one, I would have been able to stick to it, because I think even when I would joke now when I say to my wife that I bet you didn't believe that I would even do it for a week, or because I tried to do heard of like dry January. Tried to do that before, and lasted like a week or 2 weeks, and never could do
I always called it sort of dry January.
it. Yeah, but in a way, see, this is how I look at it now as well with dry January, is how many people as well coming up to dry January over Christmas and that that period are like, well, I'm going to drink as much as I can and binge drinking, because they're then okay, I'm going to not drink for January. And it's also dangerous, the fact that they're trying to get as much drinking as possible before that, even though it's obviously good to have a break at any period from it. But yeah, that I digress. So go back to when I made the decision. It was just a calling. Something spoke to me. I wouldn't say I'm particularly, or never have been like particularly religious, but I believe in cause and effect, and if you do the right things and good things, other good things and good energy follows. But at the time, it was just a case. I just wanted to be a better role model a better father. And actually, when we found out that my youngest was going to be coming, we found out on New Year's Eve,
Oh,
22. It almost felt like a gift, because I had a really quite strained relationship with my son because of the distance, my eldest son. And it was almost like I got another chance to do it right, to do things right. And that is me doing things right, being the best role model that I can be. And because our children do as we do, they don't do as we say. So it's so important for me to live a life that I want them to live,
hmm,
and give them the best start that I didn't necessarily have. Not that I don't blame anyone. I think that's
the victim
one.
mentality.
Yeah, I think one thing with sobriety as well, I don't know if you agree, is that you just kind of you know forgive all and accept that things that were not and are not perfect, and we're all flawed human beings, really. We all we're all just trying to make our way through this game. And
I mean, if you're a perfect parent, I would love to meet you. Like, is there a perfect parent out there? I mean, like, they're just
no,
we're just doing the best that we can. Our parents did the best that they could with the tools that they had. I mean, our grandparents did the best that they could. I
yeah,
mean, like, and I think of that, like, all the time, like, I'm setting an example for my children now that I quit drinking that I didn't have that example. I work out, I eat healthy, and I don't drink. I didn't have those examples, but, like, just because your parents are one way doesn't necessarily mean you have to grow up and be the same way.
yeah, exactly. No, it's so true. And I think especially nowadays as well, is there's a lot more guidance, whether it's misguidance or good guidance, with the internet, that certainly my parents wouldn't have had, and they would have just learned from their parents, like you said. So
Right.
this is why I call my decision breaking the cycle, because all of my family, are drinkers, and you know I just continued that same cycle. And if I continued, then it is essentially me accepting that I'm okay with them doing that, and going through the stuff that I've been through, and I'm not. So my decision, and this is my that's my why. People will say, "What's your why?" And my why I get up every morning, why I work my ass off, why everything is for my children. It's just because, um, and even my son, who's 15, he's smashing, going to the gym now, and he's got such a good mentality, even at 15 years old, that he's gonna be set up and go far in life, because he's took me into, I was, well, Jesus, like 27, really, to start, like, understanding personal development, and then even later to realize what's good for me and what's not good for me.
Mm. I just, pulled this up. About 12% of children nationwide live with a parent who is dependent on a dangerous substance, increasing their risk of developing substance use disorders themselves.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a sad statistic, really. I think, I don't know. Obviously, I can only really talk about the UK culture, and I genuinely believe it's not like a parenting problem; it's a culture problem, because
Right.
it's what's acceptable. And children between the age of, like, 12 and 15 start to learn from culture, and from
Mhm.
um everything that they're surrounded by. And if you can't escape it, on the TV, everyone, like, oh, I've got, something bad's happened, oh, have a drink, or something good's happened, celebrate, have a drink. you know there's always it's always like the thing that people turn to, and it's advertised that it's the thing that people turn to. Um so it's natural that impressionable children are then going to do the same thing. and especially if they, I'm very proud about the fact, and I love the fact that my children will grow up in an alcohol-free house. My wife doesn't drink either. She hasn't, as long as I haven't, and she was pregnant for a long period of that, and that probably helped me a lot, really. Um, but yeah, I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that they will grow up in a alcohol-free house. Maybe, I can't say that they're not going to drink, and they'll they'll try whatever they'll try, but we can only do our best. Like you said, we can do our best, um, and be the best version of us that we can, and that's all I try and be, is the best version of me now.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and that's my part. When you asked about what made me make the decision as well, there was another factor, is the fact that I'd started to, during COVID, I'd started to realize that I need I really loved fitness, and I loved working out. I spent the whole of lockdown just pretty much in COVID working out in the garden, in the garage. And I decided I'm going to do my qualification. I wanted to become a PT, just to help people, really.
Yeah, that's funny because I got my CPT in December of 2019.
Oh, really?
Wait, no, December of 2020.
Is that something that you've always wanted to do, or is it something you just discovered? Like,
I was a beach body coach. Now I think it's called Bodhi. I don't know, whatever. I was that for a few years, and then I was like, I can do this on my own. And so I did it. I worked in a gym for a little while. There's a whole story behind that. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I just I don't know. I tried doing it out of my house for a while, and I just realized you can't hold everybody's hand 24/7. They have to do the work on their own, just like getting sober. And that's
yes,
where, like, I'm like, "I can give you all the tools. I can work your ass as hard as you physically can go, but as soon as you leave here, what you put in your mouth is all on you. The workouts you do
yeah,
outside of me is all on you." And so I got to the point where I was like, "They're wasting their money and wasting my time." And, like, I don't know, I just kinda, like, I like helping people, don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of people don't realize that, like, if they want something bad enough, they also have to do the work. We can
work.
give them the tool yeah, we can give them the tools and, coach them along the way, help motivate them, but, like, ultimately, what people want, like, bad enough, they have to work hard for.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, when I started, what I had to do is, like, I read Robert Greene's mastery book, and I decided, I really, my way my brain works is like, I'm an addict. Whatever I get hold of, like, I'm so like, I can't put it down. If I listen to a song, I listen to it and I like it, I'll listen to it 100 times.
Yeah.
And I read this book and I was like, it just completely blew my mind. And I've been going through this mastery process, trying to improve as a human being. And I had a routine of that I would get up at 4 a.m. and I would read, I would work out, um, and my routine, I did it for 6 months
Mm,
solid, and that created the evidence. Like I was saying, it created the evidence that I can do hard shit. So even if, you know life happens, I've got two kids, like, even if, one of them's sick, I can't go to the gym, something happens, I know that I could just flick the switch and I'll go. you know like, I know that I've got the discipline. And for me, I hate when people talk about motivation, because motivation,
I was
it does
just gonna
exist.
say I was just gonna say that. It's not motivation, it's the discipline, and, like,
Discipline.
we can try to teach people discipline, but we can't they have to they have to
No,
become disciplined themselves. Like, I know that probably sounds harsh to some people, but it's it's on the person. It was on me to keep consistent with working out. Like, nobody was telling me what to do, holding my hand. Like, I was disciplined to wake up every single morning before my kids woke up and do a 30 to 45-minute workout. Like, did I enjoy it in the beginning? No, I hated it. Like, it hurt, like,
Yeah.
especially, like, postpartum, and then, trying to teach people, like, "Go outside, just walk 10 to 20 minutes, get on the treadmill, do something," and, like, the most simplest things, but yet people aren't disciplined enough, like, sure, they can look at old pictures and be like, "Ooh, that motivates me," but, like, where are they gonna find the discipline?
Yeah. Where do you think like life goes wrong for people where they don't realize that moving their body makes them feel good? So like no one ever regrets having doing a workout. You do a workout, you feel great afterwards. And if you do enough workouts, that the memory your memory is like, well, I know I'm going to feel great after doing it. So even if I don't want to do it and I'm like tired and whatever's going on, that the reward is is going to be worth it. Like for me, it's not a thing now of like I love it. It's my time. It's my time to fill my cup. And because you can't pour from an empty cup. I can't be I can't show up for my people if I don't look after myself first. And that means being selfish. That means saying no, boundaries, and saying no, I'm not doing that. I need to go to the gym. I need to work on myself. And then I'm open to, doing X, Y, or whatever it is. But it's really it's really key for me to be selfish in the sense of making sure that um I feel good myself so that I can pour the goodness into other people, because you can't otherwise, if you're feeling lethargic and tired and just, eating crap all the time, you become snappy. As a guy, your testosterone levels are low, and your relationship suffers because of that. It's just a cycle of shit, really. Like there's no other way of saying it. And I know because I've been there. There was a time where I was like contemplating whether I wanted to, continue with my marriage and all of these things. And it was never anything a reflection of my wife. It was just the fact of I wasn't prioritizing me. I didn't like me. I was self-sabotaging. Couldn't believe anyone would like me because of, the self-loathing that I was putting myself through as well with um the drinking, and then the days after that it takes, especially when you get older, it takes to the
Yeah.
longer time to recover. And you're just in a cycle of um drifting. That's how I, when I talk about it and to people, it's drifting through life. And if you're drifting through life, you've got no purpose. You've got no, and that's what it's all about for me now. That's what keeps me where I am now. How I feel is in my purpose. The purpose to be to be the best father, to be the best mentor and coach that I can be for my the guys that I support in Sober Fit Legacy. And that's also part of the recovery scenario as well. Is, I've never done AA. I've never ever pretended that I've done AA or any kind of program or anything like that. I haven't. I used my own methods, which worked for me, thankfully.
What was
But
in
I
your
know,
toolbox or is in
um,
your
ob-
toolbox?
obviously, fitness was the routine that I replaced the self-sabotaging routine with the fitness routine. Um, I did start like really, trying to get into mindfulness. Didn't really click with me at first. Now I am very, very much into mindfulness. Try to meditate when I can. Even do a bit of yoga on a Sunday morning for recovery, which is awful to see because I look like Brock Lesnar trying to do yoga. It's terrible. Honestly, it's not a good sight.
I'm
And
the I'm the same way, yoga and I are not.
I always like underestimate it as well. I think I'll just do a bit of yoga, and then 2 days later, I'm like, oh,
I did my first yoga experience was P90X. I don't know if the UK is familiar. It's a Tony Orton, I don't know, P90X, some of the US people might know, but, like, I did the yoga from there, and I said, "Yoga's supposed to be easy."
Yeah,
No. No, it's not easy.
that is really not. Yeah, I think my toolbox is um essentially is my workout routines, staying obviously staying accountable to that. Um, I have a real need to help people. Like
Yeah,
it's not even like I want to; it's like I need to. Like I've helped numerous guys. Um, one who was a heroin and crack addict, helped him get his life back on track.
wow,
This is at the start of when I before I started my business as such. I helped him for free, and seeing the change in the guys that I help as well, and seeing the impact that it makes on their family, and the impact. I've got one guy, Joe, who is unbelievable. The transformation that he made. He's now running his own successful business. He was working just like a warehouse job kind of thing, and he wasn't really happy doing it. And we spoke about that. And yeah, I think when you flick the switch for personal development and your entrepreneurial muscle grows in your brain and you feel more confident and you look you look good, you feel good, like there's no limits on what you can achieve. Like, to put into perspective, I left school with no grades whatsoever. Like
no diploma.
at 15, no, at 15 years old, I left school with no.
In the US, we call that a dropout.
I was a dropout. I dropped out before the exams. Like I was getting drunk on the day of the exams.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, at 15 years old, and that kind of was how that that day there would summarize my life between then and um I guess like 30 odd. So there's it's kind of there was like a pattern of my behavior, self-sabotaging. It started very early. Um but yeah, I left, but as I've started to improve my life and remove the things that were holding me back, what's happened is the confidence that I've grown. I got to the top of my career, um in my job, and in a leadership role with no qualifications, no anything, just believing in myself. Um, and then now I run my own business where I'm helping guys all over the world. I've got guys in the States as well. Um, Shout out to Barry. And it's unbelievable because I was this close to taking my life, and I was this close to ending it all, and I felt like I had nothing to give, and now people
Now
rely
you're
on me.
changing people's like, now you almost took your life, and now you're changing people's lives.
Yeah, and that
Like, that has
that
to be
is
so empowering.
it is that is I still, I still, I'm very humble in the sense of like I've achieved nothing really. I'm just trying to be better and rewrite my wrongs. And but it does give me, it does breathe air into me. It does give me my purpose to help people, to help people navigate through what I've navigated through. And I just woke up this morning and decided like I'm going to start um, a free fitness movement for men in sobriety, um, and almost as a reward for people who are in sobriety to have something that they can use to then start to build themselves up, to build their confidence, to build themselves physically. Um, that's something I'm going to be rolling out very soon, because it's always been part of my business model to give without take, and to give back where I might have needed it but didn't have it. It's yeah, that's a big thing for me.
I had to be reminded. I have in my members on my YouTube members, I we meet every Sunday and there's 5 of us chatting the other night, and I had to be reminded that like I am giving back. And I never think of it as me giving back by, throwing out my content, but like I guess
Sure. Yeah.
we don't like give ourselves enough credit where credit is due because I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I don't have a billion subscribers yet, so I'm not giving back. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's this is the thing. It's like even if you had 1 million subscribers, you know, just like one person seeing your content and at that moment needing to see it to stop them doing something, you know, that's worth more than 1 million subscribers anyway, because like I completely see where you're coming from as well. And sometimes I think we almost play down what we are sharing, but actually it's probably one of the hardest things to share and to be open and say, yeah, I've messed my life up really. I've made these mistakes, and you're trying to help people then navigate through their their life by sharing yours and being vulnerable. Um, and that's the only I believe that's the only reason why we do it, because we know that we can prevent pain for people, and
Mm,
we can have an impact, whether
yeah,
that's whether that's um, for me, whether that's mentally, whether that's physically, whether it's just support, you know, like you have, I'm sure, having a group and just with guys, dads who are just trying to do better, to
yeah,
get them away from the group of friends that's,
yeah,
oh, just come to the pub, or just have another one, or oh, why are you not, and because they're there to do different. If
right.
you don't get
Like,
around people with, yeah, if you don't get around people that are doing what you want to do, then you'll never do it.
exactly. Like, I got a message yesterday, actually, like, "Day 1 for me today and came across your channel. Thank you. It's heaven sent. Blessings and best wishes from England." And it's like some of these and, like, somebody was like, "You're doing an amazing job with your channel and growing and expanding. You definitely have the X factor that leads to growth in a channel, and your hubs is doing exceptional with editing. I really enjoy listening and watching your growth. Just wanted to give you feedback so far. Keep grinding." And, like, I get messages like that all the time, and, like, sometimes I'll screenshot them and save them so I can like go back to them or share them because they're so exciting to read. But like daily I get messages about like how I've helped people they're quit because of me and I've helped them 10x their business. And I mean it's just like but it still hasn't sunk in that me like little me that like my family and friends still don't believe in, but all these
Yeah.
strangers believe in me and that's what powers us.
Yeah, I think it's they see the courage. That's why, you know, they see the
Yeah.
courage that you're putting yourself out there. And look, like I'll be completely honest, man. I hate recording myself on video and posting it on like when I'm doing like feel completely cringe doing it and stuff like that. But again, when you start to think outside of what you feel and knowing that what you're doing could make a difference to someone in such a big way, and people could be, almost, and I'm sure with your content, because I've seen it, on TikTok, that people will be expecting it daily and they will be waiting for it. And then you've got that, you've got to show up because people are relying on you.
Yeah.
And that's powerful as well. It's a powerful tool to use to get it
Like,
to get it done.
when people are like, "Oh, I've been waiting for you today. I've been looking for you today," or like if I don't schedule, because I try to schedule my YouTube posts like out. Obviously I deleted the TikTok app. I still can't get the app. I just have the studio, so I can't really like navigate TikTok too much. But like people like I would like go into a frantic like crap, I gotta get my post out. And Jonathan would like be like, no, you don't have to stress about it so much. I'm like, these people rely on my daily posts. Like they tell me that they rely on them and they love them. And I'm like, I do it for the people. Like
Yeah,
and it
I'm
helps
the
me get
same.
my thoughts out. Yeah, like it helps me help them and like them like helping me keeps helping me and keeps helping them. It's just like this one big like infinity circle.
Yeah, I think also because of the type of content that we're talking about, is that when we're making this, it's not like we're just making content and It's like I'm just going to the shop or doing this, and it's content that people can resonate with, and it's also content that people cannot resonate with. So there's that conflict as well of like, you're putting it out there, but that you could get a negative reaction to it.
Oh,
And
for
that's
sure.
also the courage, showing that courage to excuse my language, but fuck it, post it anyway, because the 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 bigger purpose and the bigger meaning is that people need it, and people need to know and see a different way of living, especially as as a mother, same with me as a father. Like, people need to see that there's a different way, and guess what? It's good. It's amazing. There's no
Yeah.
better way to live your life than a life of freedom and sobriety and power. Like, it sounds egotistical, but it's not. It's like you feel, to wake up, just to wake up, and I'm so grateful to be alive today. Not wake up like, oh man, like, need to get McDonald's, and feeling it's so, yeah, it's such a ungrateful way to live your life by self-sabotaging and poisoning yourself. Like, it's, yeah, it's just, but you don't realize that until you step away from it completely. And I mean, like, I'm sure you've had the same where you talk to people and they always justify to you how much they drink. That's what happens to me. Like, well, no, I only have one at the weekend with my dinner, and like, oh, okay. When you've still got one foot in bed with the devil, like, you cannot understand what it's like to be completely free of that. Like,
Like, I'm not your doctor, you ain't gotta lie to me about how much you drink.
exactly. I'm like, I don't like, not that I don't care, but I'm just like, do you, like, you do you. If you can drink, this is my mentality with it. And I say to people, if you can drink and you enjoy it, and it doesn't have a negative effect on your life or the next days after your life and the people in your life, good for you. And I know that some people can just have one, or
We
enjoy.
call those normies, and that I didn't know what a normie was, and I was like, "Normie?" Like, that's
Yeah,
so definitely was not a normie, and I learned something today because I started finally listening to the Naked Mind, and 39% of, uh, so binge drinking, um, is like that oh my gosh, how am I supposed to say this? So when you binge drink, you have a 39% higher chance of having a stroke.
yeah.
I was like,
Actually, I see. Yeah, I saw that.
"That would be me."
Yeah, I would literally be like, when I was drinking, I would start drinking, and then it would turn to, so it'd be beers, and then it would be like rum, and then it would be like, shit, is there any like port left from Christmas 5 years ago on the top of the cupboard at like 4 in the morning, looking for, drink, like, I would, yeah, it just, it could never, there was never any moderation. And
Mhm.
do you drink alcohol? Do you drink alcohol-free drinks? Like, do you try different alcohol-free beers or
I've tried
cocktails
a
or whatever?
few, and I've really learned that, um, I only liked wine to get wasted. I like the NA champagnes, and I've tried the Heineken Zero. I tried another, here we call it 805. I've tried, an IPA from Sierra Nevada,
Yeah,
um, but, like, I don't chug them like I used to chug beer. I had a purpose when I was drinking to get wasted. Now I just, like, there's no purpose. I mean,
yeah.
you know what I mean,
Hello?
like, yeah, 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 and so I'm like, I'll have, like, I have some Heineken still out there, and I have some IPAs, like, the NA ones, just for, like, like, I don't know, like, my dad came last summer, and I was like, "You wanna have a beer with me?" I gave him a Heineken Zero, and we drank a Heineken Zero together. Usually, I was plastered with my dad.
Yeah. He's like, do you want to have a beer with me? Like, no.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you realise that it's the alcohol-free one. I've got a Heineken Zero on the side, which was left from Christmas, and what I realised was I don't really like the taste of beer. Like, there's so many other
yeah.
drinks that I like the taste of more than I do like a beer, and even when I was drinking so I got some like IPA, um, alcohol-free beers, and I would drink two, three, four of them, and I'll just like feel dead bloated because obviously it's just so gassy.
Yeah.
But I genuinely did start to feel like, not the thinking I wanted to drink again, but I was doing things that I would do when I was drinking, and it was almost becoming a bit of a pattern with like the football was on, like the soccer. Like I was like, well, I just get four of them alcohol-free beers, and then you know that would maybe then lead to like the next day I'll just get some more. And that's one of the things actually that I will touch on since being in sobriety is like I'm in the best financial position that I've ever been in, um, through saving money on not spending on alcohol and other stuff, but also not living a life, because I live my life like purpose over pleasure as much as I can. So I don't buy stuff I don't need. I don't buy, I don't waste money, which I used to. I would just, constantly like buy takeaways and like stuff that I didn't need just because it gave me that quick dopamine fix. That like I don't. I even say like I hate spending money now, and I look, and my mind has changed towards that in the way that I want to grow. I want growth rather than like feeling like I don't deserve this money, so I just got to get rid of it and give it away. Like that was how I've always felt
Mhm.
towards money. So it changed. Like there's so much that's changed in my life, like that I owe to sobriety.
Yeah.
There's I've got so many reasons to continue with it, and partly because I can't think of anything negative, like can't think of a negative to say, since I don't have ever have like fear of missing out. If I get invited to something that people are going to be drinking, there's alcohol there, so no thanks,
Yeah.
no thank you. But saying no is something that I am absolutely fine with doing, and the boundaries that I have, I've never had them. I've always been a people pleaser. Like didn't want to go somewhere, but I'll go and feel like shy and awkward. Because believe it or not, I am like my previous personality is like very anxious and shy and unsure of myself, which it's not just in not just sobriety, but obviously the physical training that I've done and mental training and stuff like that. So there's so much that you can discover. I think there's so much you can discover just by making one choice in your life, one thing, by changing one thing, and it can change everything. And
Right.
that's you know still blows my mind now. Still blows my mind that that is the case, and that's what's happened to me. Yeah, but it's a blessing, really. There's no other way to say
There's
it.
there's so many rewards coming from quitting drinking, and there's never any regrets.
No, no.
Like, I don't
Yeah,
have any regrets. I don't miss it. I was personal training when I was the heaviest drinking, but, like, now I don't I work out, but I don't work out as hard because 'cause I'm not trying to outrun the alcohol, and I feel like a lot of those times I would, like, just purposely try to sweat so much to burn off the alcohol. I'd sit in the sauna, I would, like, do so many hit workouts, I would do intervals on the treadmill, like, anything to, like, sweat it out, and now I'm like, I barely sweat, like, I mean, maybe during summertime, but, like, I would sweat all year round when I was drinking, and now I'm like, "Man, I can hardly break a sweat now,"
yeah.
but I
Because
don't give any to sweat
you're
out.
poisoning yourself.
Yeah.
We don't think of it like that, but like it, there is that was a very big reason for me also when I decided like I would, it sounds like I'm like assassinating my old character, but this is just so true. Is like I never ever stuck to anything I said I was going to do. I couldn't hold down a job, you know, couldn't hold down a relationship because I, you know, again would always go back to habits that would ruin things. And when I realized like how much I loved like fitness and working out and how it made me feel, something also said to me was like, I'm not going to be one of these coaches that says, "Oh, it's okay to, you know, it's okay if you have a few drinks because, you know, you can lose the calories if you do a workout, whatever." But for me, it's just like you can't promote health and then also tell people that it's okay to take something that has zero nutritional value and is poison. That just
But I
wasn't
did that was
something I was
me.
going to do. Yeah, that
I
just
did
wasn't.
that, and I was like, "Just switch your mixer out," and, like,
Yeah,
like, now I look back and I'm like, "Gosh, I gave" like, I've grown so much from those moments
yeah.
that
I saw something the other day, and I was like, actually, come into my email, and it was a fitness a fitness club. So basically, like, go there, you do the workout, and then
yeah.
afterwards have drinks. And it was like they're advertising it as that, like, you know, like it looked like a nightclub. They were doing the workout and then be drinking after. And I was just like, it was shots that they're advertising on the like the flyer, and I was just like, I was like, what the hell? Like, I couldn't, like, it's so weird to think like when how I used to be, and I was so pro drinking. I couldn't imagine going to football to watch football or play football without drinking after or before. Um, I could never imagine going to any kind of family gathering if it wasn't to go and get smashed and then, you know, see all the drama that happens after that after the drink, because it always does. Um, I could never imagine, you know, going for a coffee with a friend. Like someone said to me before, like, "Oh, I'm gonna go for a coffee." I'd be like, "What?"
Right?
Yeah, but now I'm like, I come in and like it's gone from coming home from like being out all day, coming over work, and instead of coming in and getting a beer and opening a beer, coming and be like, "Oh, have a decaf coffee." Can't have a can't have a full coffee, a caffeinated coffee because I'll be awake all night. But maybe that's my age more than anything. I don't know.
I don't know, my husband drinks caffeinated coffee and he can still fall asleep, but that he used it in Iraq for, like, comfort. Like, it was something
Oh,
to
okay.
do with, like,
Yeah.
in Iraq. But, I think those of us that have ADHD, it does the opposite.
Yeah. I've got some like stim free pre workout, which is that's the thing. Like when I decide now, and I'm like, oh, I want to change this. I don't like it. Like it's making me like I was taking the normal pre workout, and it was making me like anxious and like itchy and stuff. And I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this feeling. So I got stim stim free one. And then so far this year, I've not had any normal pre workout, which I used to like just smash it all the time. So that's something I'm really like. Also, I'm like, yeah, I'm proud of that because it's also another thing that I've been able to go. That isn't good for me. It's making me feel like this. I want to remove this from my life. Like I can do that with anything. People, like
All the
no
toxic
problem.
out of your life.
Yeah, no problem. Like people, if they're not contributing or moving in the same way that I want to move, I'll love you from a distance. Thank you. But this is, you know, this is my decision. This is my life. You know, I think we forget sometimes that um, you know, this isn't a rehearsal. We've only we have to make the best of it for ourselves and protect our own energy, like making sure that we protect our energy. That's something that I really focus on, not just with me, but also with guys that I support, is like have your boundaries and protect your energy and don't react to things or people. You know, someone says something or whatever, you know, like pisses you off, then just don't reply. Just leave it. Maybe you'll reply the next day or whatever, but just there's no, there's no rules. There's no rules to this. It's your game.
There's many situations where I have taken myself out of the picture. There was no words. Well, some things there was no words. There was just like, "You know what? You wanna treat me this way? I will step away, and you don't have access to me anymore." And
Yeah,
same, I didn't like, words were said about me, some very hurtful, like, things that actually probably cannot be forgiven, and it's just like, I chose to take myself out of the picture, and I probably it's gonna take a long time for me to be able to come back around. And you know what? It's those people's faults, not mine, because when you attack me, like, I don't have to deal with it anymore. Like, when I was
yeah,
drunk or drinking, of course I was gonna attack back, but now I'm like, "Peace," with my middle
yeah.
finger.
I'm the same. And sometimes I don't even, I don't even give an explanation or like. I used to be like I lived a very long period of my life playing the victim, and,
Yeah,
and really, it's because that was the environment I grew up in, and I inherited that kind of victim mentality of, this is just what happens to people like me. Nothing good happens to me. Blaming everything from the government, like my, you know, whatever it was. Like it was always just a case that I was a victim of it.
yeah,
And when you actually like just step back and just say, well, actually, no one's coming to save me. This is my shit. I've got to sort this. I've got to, you I've had trauma therapy, which was unbelievable, which rewired my mindset, and enabled me to remove a lot of limited beliefs and false beliefs, and like I said, to learn behaviors, stuff like that. And I'm just always constantly like looking at ways of trying to improve, and how I can just be more at peace. That's a thing that I'm looking for moving forward, is just being at peace, um, and being happy, because that's all we all want, isn't it? As humans, just to be happy.
exactly. So true. Um, what specific advice do you have for fathers striving to balance sobriety, fitness, and family responsibilities?
You have to create the me time, and it usually fits around doing it in the morning. So, cut out watching Netflix in the evening for an hour, go to bed an hour earlier, and then you just get up earlier. You make that hour in the morning yours when you're undisturbed. You can't be disturbed. So many things can happen throughout the day. You go to work and whatever. Like you get home and the last thing you want to do is do your workout.
Right.
So when you prioritize it in the morning, you schedule it like a meeting. It's non-negotiable, and it's non-negotiable because your life might just depend on it. Actually, your life does depend on it. So it is non-negotiable for that reason. And you fill your cup before anyone else can, intervene and prevent you from working on yourself for yourself.
Yeah, that's a good one. I always try to tell people, like, work out in the morning because by the end of the day, you're gonna have all the excuses not to work out at night.
Exactly. And
I
we're
think
only as yeah.
there's some statistics showing that it's actually better to work out in the morning anyways for your metabolism.
Yeah, it definitely is. Like when you when you start the day, I call it habit stacking. So when you start the day with a good habit, generally, say you like, you go your workout, then you'll eat better, you'll hydrate as well because you'll need to. Like you just stack from early, you stack the habits and the wins. And if you can get up early and you can go to the gym, or you can do a workout, in your house or whatever, outdoors, if you can do that, you definitely build the power and the confidence to say, once you've done that, I can do anything in this day. You almost like, I'm ready for it. Let's go. Like otherwise, you're not. You're the first thing that happens that isn't how you perceived it to happen can take you out and chop you down, and then your day's over with. It's done, and you're pissed off for the whole day.
Yeah, and well, not only, like, is morning great, you can listen to personal development as you're working out, knock that out also, and, I mean, if you're doing a workout, you're at least drinking like uh, a quart of water at least
Yeah,
um, in the morning.
unless it's like me
But
today when I forgot it.
yeah. Uh, but like I stopped making the excuse because I was like, gosh, it's so cold because my gym is in my garage. I'm like, ah, it's so cold. So I just brought like a stack of dumbbells in. They're just on my floor right behind the computer. And I'm like, whatever, I'll just make myself an indoor workout plan and uh
Yeah,
have at it. Like you just have to like, I don't know, if people need help with these things. Obviously they can reach out to me or you, but like you gotta get rid of the excuses.
yeah. There's the only thing that you know removes the excuses is action. Like there is, we've all got excuses. There's always a reason why not to, but I'll tell you, there's a lot of more reasons of why you should. And
Yeah.
like we said earlier, you never ever regret it. You never regret working out, and it should be the number one priority. It should it should be something that is non-negotiable. Like
Yeah.
that's it.
I agree. So, what are your future goals for your advocacy work, and how do you plan to expand your mission to reach more individuals? Like, what's your future plans? Where do you want to see yourself?
So I never plan too far ahead, really, in the sense of like business wise, but it's just helping more people, helping more guys because that's is specifically who I help. Dads sort of between the age of 30 and 50 who just feel stuck. It's a horrible place to be, and people just need sometimes, even if it is just a bit of support to get started. Always happy to do that. Um, yeah, the mission is to help and help 1 million men and dads find a sober, fit fatherhood, and that will be something that I'll be working on. Currently, I'm on LinkedIn and Instagram, and TikTok, which I've just started on as well. And yeah, I'll be starting this free fitness for dads who are in sobriety, and there will be, they will need to be in sobriety because it's not a case of pushing people. I just want to just
Yeah.
give the hand to people and pull them in the direction that they need to be and need to go in. That's something that I'm working on. Clothing range that I've been working on. That's ready to drop as well.
What is it? Sorry.
So
Oh, yes. Yes.
it's Sober Fit Legacy is the academy and the business that I'm supporting the guys in, but the clothing line will be my sober legacy, and actually it's going to be personalized, so people will be able to get their sobriety date on the clothing as well to make
I
it,
love that.
yeah, something that they can look back at, and it's like we were saying with the days. It's something that some days you might just need that little pat on the back, and I believe that will support them in that. Um, yeah, then it's just a case of just trying to be more useful. That's what Arnold
Great.
Schwarzenegger says: is just try and be useful in our time here. Um, Looking forward to collaborating with you in some way as well, because I think we
Yeah.
definitely can do that. Really enjoyed this chat.
Yeah, me too. I don't know when this is going out, and I'm assuming probably not in the next like week or two. But I am dropping a coffee brand. People will buy
Nice.
coffee and I'll be able to ship it to them.
We
So
better ship it
that
to the UK.
that's something that like when as I'm talking to you, I'm like, am I gonna be able to ship it to the UK? I don't know. I don't have those answers. We're just finishing up a name today. I think we have a name. I have the names of the coffee like the roasts, like some fun like sober things. But like that's like what I'm excited for because I've talked so much about how coffee has like helped me stay sober. It helped me lose my baby weight. It helped me get sober. Um and I've always joked that I would give up alcohol before caffeine, and well, here I am. Like, even during my pregnancies, I'm like, "I will drink my whatever 200 milligrams of caffeine that I'm allowed," but, like, I wouldn't drink. I don't know, whatever it was. That's what I always said. So, like, we are launching that, and, like I said, I don't know exactly when this podcast will go out, but
That's
s
awesome. That's awesome.
stay
But
tuned for
maybe we
that.
can, yeah, we can do maybe we can do an exchange. You can send me some coffee, and I'll send you a personalized hoodie or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
that's
so many opportunities out there, and, like, it's just finding who you, like, match the best with, I mean, for
yeah,
collabing with.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I completely agree. I realized that when I went to this business event at the weekend and made so many great contacts, just by going up to people and just talking to them and telling them about who I am and what I do. And that was so alien to me because before I wouldn't even go out to a pub on my, or like, I was too anxious and nervous. So it really does, the world really does open up to you. I think
Yeah,
when you start to make positive choices in your life and believing in yourself is the key, isn't it?
it is. And, like, with our coffee brand, we wanna get to a like, we have a nonprofit, so we wanna, like, get that back up and going too. So, like, there's just so many things in this area that we want to keep giving back with, and
Yeah.
then just keep meeting, like, amazing people, and yeah, it all aligns. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I'm doing some work with alcohol change in the UK, which as a like community support, like community champion. Um, so I definitely want to somehow donate some like profits to the alcohol change. Um, how that or what that looks like, but I also have a very um, like attached to my giving back is the like homelessness and people who struggle with homelessness, because yeah, that was something that I went through and struggled with, and so that's also something that I'm very keen to give back in some way, however that is. But so yeah.
so you've come off long ways. You came from the streets, homeless, to, like, a thriving father.
Yeah, I mean, funny story before we wrap it up. So when I was 15 and I was homeless. I was sleeping outside this. It was like a ski dome, so it blew hot air out of the side because of the ice inside. And I was sat there because it was warm. So there was a lady there, and I got talking to her, and she held her hand out, and she had a £5 note in her hand, and I was desperate, and I just took it and I ran, and she was shouting at me, and it sounded like she was putting a hex on me. Like and I believed for so many years that because of that she'd put a hex on me, on my life, and that I had to somehow do good to overwrite that. Um, Probably isn't true, but I believed it, and maybe that was again, the victim part of
Yeah.
that. That was an excuse for me as well to live that kind of, that lifestyle, because that's what happened to me.
Yeah. You're not you're, like, the 3rd person in the last week or 2 that I've talked to about something like that, like, something bad happened while they were, like, drinking or something, and now they're doing whatever they can to pay it forward now because of those things that were done. I mean,
Yeah,
that's I mean,
I've paid. I've paid my dues. Yeah, paid
paid
my
my dues.
dues for that in giving back to charity. And if she's listening, I hope you forgive me as well.
It's oh my gosh, and then, like, it go like, you just mentioned that, like, if she's listening, it's so funny how many people actually listen to us, and we're changing their lives without even, like, knowing.
Yeah,
How many lives are we touching without them ever reaching out to us and telling us?
complete strangers. That's it. I'm sure, as you are, I'm always open to helping people, um, whatever, in whatever way I can, in a support way. also just, maybe it's just relating to what they've heard today, and knowing that anything is possible, but first of all you have to invest in yourself, and that investment generally is the hard work. If you want to get to somewhere without doing hard work, then I've got news for you. It's probably not going to happen. So
Yeah,
don't waste your time.
exactly. Well, everybody can find you at lee.stewart.sobafitlegacy.
Yeah, that's TikTok. So Instagram's Lee_Stewart, there's STEWART_soberfit legacy.
Okay.
And LinkedIn Lee Stewart, nice and easy. The TikTok is a sober.fit legacy.